everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the Cringeworthy podcast. I'm your host, Colleen Ote. And hey, thanks for coming back to us. If you've listened to episode 1 and 2, listen, we're just going to get better and better. Episode 3 is with Thomas Bottoms. He is a radio personality. He is a host of a radio show himself. Also had some... This is an explosive episode, literally and figuratively. All right. We have incredible rape revenge. And as a woman, I feel like I can speak for a lot of us when I say we love the rape revenge. Fucking best thing you could kind of hear all day. We have floor cum because Thomas, of course, worked in a porn shop. Why wouldn't you? And also terminal crabs. Yeah. No. It's just exactly as disgusting and weird. And oh my God, just listen to this podcast. It's going to be so good. If you have been listening so far, you like what you hear, you want to hear more, you want to give us that boost, go to iTunes. Please subscribe to us. iTunes is the key. Rate us 5 stars and leave a comment. And I want to read it on air. So leave a really good, either a gross comment, loving comment, whatever. Leave a really good comment. If it's the best, I'm going to read it to the rest of the listeners. Also, if you think you have a cringeworthy story that I need to hear, hit me up on the social media. Okay. We've got Facebook, the Cringeworthy Podcast, Twitter @CringePod. On Instagram, we are Cringe Podcast. And our email is cringepod@gmail.com. That's CRINGEPOD, one word, @gmail.com. And now let's just get into the fucking shit in episode 3 with Thomas Bottoms. Thank you so much for listening. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Kalina.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Hey, Thomas Bottoms today.
Yes, Thomas Bottoms, and he will go down.
Is that your real name?
No, my real last name is Swallows with a Z.
Ha, ha, ha. Okay.
Like, in the 4th grade, you had to do that whole, come up with adjectives to describe you. So... T, Thomas, is truthful. H, honest. O, optimistic. You get to Z. No child wants to be zesty. Okay,
yeah,
I just didn't want to be zesty. So, and no one can spell my last name either. It swallows with a Z. So that's why I came up with a stage name of Bottoms, with an S because I am plural.
Oh, so. They're fantastic. Fantastic. What does that mean? Like, what are you a multi-layered person? Are there dualities? What is?
I think the S means I've done it more than once.
Oh, okay.
Like high school, it's like, oh, he's so cool. I bet he's had it twice. Like one of those moments.
You're like, no, and then some. Oh my God. So
I've been passed around like a blood at a pot party. Okay. I spent a night in jail, and honey, it was like us. It was like us. I went over that rainbow, baby. Went over that rainbow, and I even got my Keller. I got my Keller.
Maybe if I had gone to jail as a younger person, I would have come out sooner. Maybe that's what it was. Like, I just had to be worse. I was like a minorly bad kid, like minorly bad child, but not bad enough that I ever got caught.
Oh.
So also white. So no one was going to do anything. They'd be like, oh, you drive home safely. I'm like, thank you so much.
I was a bad kid because I had bad parents. And I had a whole bad upbringing. It was one of those, like, they were supposed to teach me how to drive. They wouldn't give me driver's ed. And it's like, after like 8 months of like, when are you going to teach me? I'm tired of the excuses. I stole the car and taught myself.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Where'd you grow up?
Different places.
Everywhere? Were you a military
Kind of
kid?
everywhere. I was born in Germany. My father's Dutch. My mother's Swedish.
Damn.
We came to the United States where I like to joke we were greeted by disco and you light up my life.
Hell yeah.
Probably wanted to head back to Europe, but in that time we lived in Texas, Ohio, Arizona, Indiana, Colorado, Missouri. I'm now in Chicago, Illinois. Longest place I've ever lived, 12 years.
Holy shit. Congratulations.
Thank you. And
thanks for sticking around.
Don't get confused about me being in Antigua, Guatemala, Tokyo, Japan, and Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. As you can tell, I've been around. And oddly enough, this year, all I've been doing is traveling, it feels like. From March to end of July, I traveled like every other weekend. And I'm moving this Thursday. This coming Friday, I am going to St. Louis for 3 nights.
Oh, my God.
2, 3, 4 nights after that, I'm going to Detroit for a couple nights. And then a week after that, I'm doing a tour. I'm going to Phoenix, Arizona, then going up to Las Vegas.
Hell yeah.
Then going to Gallup, New Mexico. Because when I lived in Arizona, I actually lived in Window Rock, Arizona. I was, that's the headquarters of the Navajo Reservation.
Oh, damn. Nice.
And that the one woman who had her blood test done, she claims to be Navajo, which is out of Arizona, but our great president likes to call her Pocahontas, which is actually a completely different tribe on the eastern coast.
He wouldn't know any of that
He wouldn't
shit.
know anything like that. So I'm hoping to see that. And
God.
I was one of 3 white kids in my elementary school. Actually, until my parents got money in 9th grade, it was always that, which one's Thomas? And it was like you would spot the white kid in the school photo, like that one's Thomas. I lived in Country Lake Apartments in Indianapolis that used to have a one-word review. It's called ghetto. It was,
man.
Now, last time I went, like they really cleaned up the neighborhood. Like all the kids were gone. I was a little bit scared. But a friend who drove me, like I was like, I want to go out and take a photo. He's like, okay. And so I got up. He's like, can you close the door? And I closed the door. And he probably locked it. He was so afraid for his life.
Finest.
He was there was no gentrification. He was just afraid for his life. And I was like, that neighborhood got better. No, this is nice. This is such a nice neighborhood.
Way easier than it was.
There was like drug dealing and gangs and actually one of the gangs was a junior high gang that was forming and they called themselves the Streetwalkers. And I had to tell him, like, that has a different meaning. And, like, they just beat the tar out of me. And I'm like,
never mind.
I'm leaving you alone.
Absolutely the Streetwalkers.
I'm leaving you alone.
100% you are. And you know what? I want your T-shirt, please. If you could all sign this.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And so anyway, I guess my parents came into money or something. And so we left. This was in Indianapolis off of Post Road, which I always mention that people always like, lived at off Post Road? I'm like, oh, yeah.
I used to live in Hammond. So it was like, when I went to Indianapolis once, I was like, fuck this place. Because all the one-ways were just, which at the time, I just didn't have, I was trying to get to the fucking voter register. I had to get all these cards in. So I had to get downtown. And I literally drove around the building like 4 times, like, fuck is your entrance? I just need these cards out of my hands. Like, this is all I need. And so I never went back. I never went back to Indianapolis. I wrote it off as a mistake, as like, the people got used to it. They can live there, but I'm not dealing with it ever again. Unless you want me there in Indianapolis, and then I'll totally come to you now.
After
beck and call.
After like over 2.5 decades, I visited Indianapolis twice this year because I was trying to come to terms with my past, if you will. The first trip was horrible. The second trip, when I went alone and no longer traveled with the couple, that how long is it to Indianapolis? 3 hours? How long did it take you to get there? 7.
Oh, God.
They stopped every 30 to 45 minutes. There was one time we stopped, we went into our Starbucks, we hung out in the Starbucks, we went to the car, we talked in the car, we then drove and circled the parking lot to then park again at the Starbucks to go inside to then come back out and talk further. It was like, Starbucks? Can we move? Can we go someplace? I want to be there.
I couldn't do that.
Indianapolis is, I saw like how the gay people behave in Indianapolis. Like there was a guy wearing a yellow t-shirt that involved like surfing, except it was Santa Claus surfing. And this was in August. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then he ended up, I talked to him, and Indianapolis was really fun because like some guy kept hitting on him and wouldn't get the answer no. And I'm like, oh, he's just being too polite and I'm a tourist. So I probably like said to the guy like, hey, I'm going to cock block you now. And I reached over and just started like rubbing the guy's chest hair. And I was like, ooh, this feels nice. And then smiled at the other guy. He's like, yeah, you're losing. You can go now. And then the guy left because, you know, when you travel, you do feel more entitled. Like, I'm just going to be a bitch to you because I'm never going to see your face again.
Doesn't matter. Although, yeah, and like in Chicago, I've had to realize like, no, I could very well see them again. Like it's a big city, but it's not that big of a fucking city. In fact, one year I went on 2 dates. Actually, yeah, it was 2 dates. One with a woman who we texted really well, like super good. Like we had conversations galore. But then when we met in person, it was a sentence. And that was the night. But she had brought friends.
Oh, God.
And so one of her friends was this super chatty chick. So she was like, did it like talking her up. And I'm like, did you fucking text for her? Because literally we have spoken a sentence. We sat next to each other after the show. We left and she's like, we should do this again. I wanted to be like, what? Do what? Do what? Say hi. And then I talked to your best friend. I don't know that I want her coming all the time. Like, to be honest, she's very nice, but...
You want it coming in a different way.
Well, hey, exactly. You know. But then I saw her again. It was like 3 months later, and I was in a relationship at the time, and I like looked up and I was like, fuck, because it was the same CTA car with not enough people for us, like not to have her look up and recognize me. And I was like, just don't. And she didn't. I was like, I don't know how I got away with this, but she didn't look up. And so I was like, fuck. And it happened to me twice. And the second one, I want to say we went on one date and then like either I dropped the texting or she did. It's just awkward. Just Chicago's not that big. Bottom fucking line. Chicago is a great big city, but it's not a big city.
Yeah,
like, yeah. You will run into people eventually. Like there's times I'm dreading it. Like, oh, fuck, this is an area I relatively know they would go to. It's like, please don't be here. But it's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's inevitable.
That's something I had to actually get used to because when my family moved to Parker, Colorado, that was about 99.9% white. The one black kid there, I was his friend, and then he moved. His family realized, like, hey, this racist place probably isn't for you.
Yeah.
Those rich white people, it was new money and... It was the 5% new money and old mountain country folk. And they were just the most hateful people I had ever dealt with in my life. Like this, I'm getting my PTSD back currently watching this presidential administration.
Oh my God.
And it was one of those that I was constantly recognized. I was constantly called names. They threw things at me. I did fight back initially, and what actually happens, and we see this with Trump, is when he picks on somebody and they fight back. When I fought back, I was the one who got in trouble, not the other kids.
For sure, yeah.
And,
not at all. Yeah.
And people started getting surprised when my mouth started running. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just going to be mean to you. I don't like you. And a lot of the reasons why I left the Colorado Denver area was that I got tired of being recognized. It was like, oh, didn't you graduate from such and such? And I would answer honestly, like, no, I didn't graduate from that school because I transferred my senior year.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Oh my God.
It was so bad that they were like, oh, Thomas, if you transfer your senior year, you'll miss at the reunion. And I said, now if I keep practicing with my rifle.
Right.
And I was a couple towns over from Columbine. And let me just say, like, when those kids shot up the school, like, I don't condone it, but I get why you did it.
You were like, oh,
I get why. It's like, you are horrible people and someone needs to take you out.
Man.
Like, when I say I got bullied, like, my youngest brother died at the end of 9th grade, and there were some bullies who bullied me about that.
Those are the worst.
I wish I was joking, but it's like, I'm at my lowest, and all you want to do is stomp me.
These little bigot kids. Oh my God. Yeah, I went to a high school, grade school, high school in the middle of Illinois, so I know all about that shit. All about that shit. But okay, let's get to the show. Let's get to what we're doing.
We're currently segued.
Sorry. Yes. So now you know our lives. You know everything about us from birth to now. And if you're listening to this podcast again, thanks for coming back. This Thomas and I have never met before. This is going to be the first time. This is my intro to him as well as you. So come along for this ride. Thomas, have you had Malort before? Just going to get right into it.
I want to say I have not. At the time I was going to have Malort, the 40-year-old comedian I was traveling with did not have her ID, and they would not let us in the bar.
Thank fucking God. But now we don't have to ask for your ID, but we will have a shot. So Malort, if you're listening, sponsor us, please. That's what we're aiming for. If you have not had Malort, you're about to hear the aftermath. It is just the most vile wretch. It smells awful.
Smells like turpentine.
It really does, but I feel like I'd rather sniff turpentine. I'd probably rather drink it. So this was really just a poor choice on my part. All right, get listeners. Thomas, first time.
I used to have a shot. Nursery rhyme I would do for shots. Do I want to do it with this shot?
Hell, yeah.
Okay. I sucked him in the bar. I sucked him in the car. I sucked him on the road, and he shot his load. I sucked him in the bed, and he enjoyed my head. I swallowed the juice, and now I'm labeled loose.
Say, welcome to Cringeworthy.
Welcome to Cringeworthy. Cheers.
Cheers.
God damn it. Oh, no!
Oh, my Lord.
It's not it. It's never going to get easier. Oh, it's never going to get easier.
It has a kind of fir tree with a rubber tire aftermath.
It sticks on your tongue like a tire burn. Like God.
Okay, I don't give rim jobs, but this would be one of those, would you rim job a homeless or take another shot of Malort? And I would have to consider. I really would have to consider.
You have to stop for a minute because this is bad.
Like, there's a little swig at the bottom, and normally I'd go after him like, dead.
Yeah, no, it's done.
Dead.
Yeah, I find, if that was whiskey, I'd be like, no, let's put it back.
Why do you do this to your guests?
See, this is why, because this gets us in the mood for, like, if you think you feel grossed out now and like you want to vomit, I want to feel like that after your story. I don't know. I have the weakest constitution, so I don't understand why necessarily I do this sometimes. Like, I don't know, but like much like I don't even breathe through your nose. Oh, it tastes worse when you do it. Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm just doing mouth now. I have horrible stuffed up sinuses, and I'm thankful for them right now.
Oh, God.
See,
I take some water. I try to hold out, but I can't.
As someone in the gay world, I have to say, like, I've gone to certain bars. I've been kicked out of this bar, too, by the way, where one time I went and there was a guy circling the bathrooms, and he was asking to take it from the tap, if you will.
Yeah,
and,
okay. Well,
he didn't ask me because I think I project this attitude of what did you just ask me?
But yeah, that what is it? Okay, I don't even. Okay,
I don't know. And then I was at a place a couple of weeks ago, and I thought there was like, oh, is this a live oral sex? So I'm like, that is the weirdest technique I've ever seen. He just put his head down there, and it's not moving. And then they, I guess, reciprocated, and the guy kept spitting, and I was like,
no.
oh, what are they doing? And then my friend said, they're drinking each other's urine.
God, no, that's not true.
That was true.
That was
true. That was true. And then the one guy who kept spitting it out, he like wiped his lips and then tried to give himself like the 20s, 30s curl with his mustache, the handlebar mustache.
Oh, God.
Which, I don't know. Like,
yeah, what?
In their defense, I guess urine breath would also smell similar to Bud Light breath, but I wouldn't risk it.
Very true, but oh my God. And this is a public place, though. This is like...
It was the back room of a public place, yes.
God.
Yes. No, it wasn't like we were at Applebee's and someone stood on a table. It's just...
Well, yeah, I mean, fuck.
Like TGI Fridays might allow that.
I would probably go to Applebee's then, even though that's like, but like Applebee's
is horrible food.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. Food. Exactly. So someone would have to be pissing off a table into another person's mouth for me to go to an Applebee's at this point. And yeah, that's...
We would just call it the brine. I don't know.
So what is, oh my God, so that's disgusting. What the fuck else do you have? Like what?
Oh God.
What is the... All right. Have you seen just something like, okay, like just that made you even go like, I don't think I can handle this, or did it even happen to you?
I'm in the gay world. Ages ago, friends of mine got involved heavily into the gay leather community, and there was like the Leather University, which was 3 hours, and I checked it out. And it was just one of those like, yeah, this isn't for me. I don't need to wear a dead cow and think I'm all extra macho. Like, I have to admit, like, growing up, I had potty training problems, and up to like 5th grade, potty training problems. So I was the smelly kid. So as an adult, I wear a lot of cologne. I've since cut myself down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sprays of cologne a day.
Oh, God.
I used to go up to like 24. Like, and if I'm going on a hot date, like I'm gonna spray. Like I'm just gonna bathe. I'm gonna put on deodorant. I'm gonna and like there's a section of the leather populace that's like, oh, I hate cologne. I hate deodorant. And I'm like, good for you.
Wait,
Don't
what?
be around me.
But you're in leather. You're in leather. You cannot sweat in that and smell good. That's not a thing. And you guys have balls. Like, I can't imagine.
One time there was an event, like I had to park like a block and a half away, and as I was walking, I could smell.
No.
Smell. And then we went inside, and I singled out the smell.
You went inside.
I went inside. I was a glutton for punishment.
Seriously?
There were men there with money willing to buy me drinks. Sometimes, sometimes when times are rough, you got to do what you got to do.
I mean, I can't blame a girl, but damn.
Like some people in the gay community, like I did know a guy who got turned on by farts.
Okay,
I have to say I don't like toilet humor because as a gay man, that is an occupational hazard. Like we did mention rim jobs earlier. It's like, let me just say, I don't do them, and you don't have to do them to me. And I have been with guys like I drove 3 hours. I was clean, and then we went hiking, and then that was like the first thing he did to me. And I'm like, you don't know me that well. How you know I'm that clean? I know I'm clean. How you know?
Yeah.
How you know? And I don't know what that's about. So.
That's never been like. You know what? Never been curious about it. Never did it because I never wanted. I was like, oh no, it's cool. Yeah. Always shit out. No. No. So how does that? I mean, like.
More power to you. People are attracted to different things, and you don't know. I had to recognize.
That's true. Yeah. If you're into it. And it's
like if you wrestled with cute boys and they would like pin you down and fart on you, you might find an arousal to farting. Like there was a church camp that would take like 10, 11-year-old boys, 11, 12, 13-year-old boys with 11, 12, 13-year-old girls, and they would have the boys wear a diaper and a bib and a little bonnet and a smile, possibly a pacifier. So again, these boys are now half naked. And then they would go up to the girls, and the girls would act like their mommy, and you can sit on my lap and I'll take care of you. And they're like, so where'd this diaper baby fetish come from? It's like, you just gave it to him.
Wow.
You just ingrained it into these kids. And I think the reverse happened to me in a I guess my 8-year-old #MeToo moments where my brother's friend, he was 7 years older. He was a redhead ginger, and we're wrestling around. He's like, oh, Thomas, give me a blowjob. I'm like, oh, yeah, baby, present it. And I turn around, and sure enough, there's the first time I've seen an erect penis. And what I did is I took my little fist, and I punched it. And then I ran like hell. And like, I never told my parents. Like, hopefully they don't hear this. And oddly enough, as he was a ginger. He was a very pale, red-headed, freckled ginger. Not too many freckles. And as an adult, like, I am not attracted to redheads. I am just not attracted to redhead men. Like, someone put in a...
That would do it probably for me, too.
If I'm watching porn, it's one of those, like, if they start peeing on each other or there's a long scene with two redheads, I'm out. Like, initially, like, white boys already give me chills. Like, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice is all the way for me. But it's like, I was shocked how repulsed I was by gingers. I was like, ew, I don't want to, get into it. It's like, no, I'm not. It's not going to happen.
No way.
I'm not that drunk.
Damn. That's like PTSD shit. Damn.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that.
Now, my probably grossest grossest story I can tell, and then we're going to go into like witty conversation. And this is another hashtag Me Too moment, if you will. Ages ago, I was in the Mexican bar, and there was a guy who was interested in me, but my Spanish wasn't very good, and I was with my friend, and my friend saw as an opportunity and ended up going home with the guy. Like, he straight up cock-blocked me. Oh, yeah, the man cock-blocked me all the time.
That's such a dick move.
And, anyway, so I didn't want to get involved in that he said stuff. And so I didn't worry about it. So like a couple months later, I bumped into the guy again, and he was really interested in me. And he kind of got me like crazy drunk, like really, really drunk. And we're fooling around, and I'm like, God, I'm drunk. And I arrived at the party too soon. And I know the word embarazado means pregnant, so I didn't know how to tell him that, like, oh, no, I'm sorry I arrived too quickly. And so he's like, oh, we'll go sleep. And I kind of passed out. I was really drunk. And at some point, I remember very vaguely, like, heavy breathing, someone on top of my back.
No.
And I woke up, and his jism was all over my big fat ass. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, I was drunk, and you kind of raped me here. That's not
even
good.
Kind of. That's not even a kind of. That's a full blown.
That's a full blown rape.
Yeah.
So he wanted to do round 2, and
what the fuck?
I was fully aware of my body, and I had Village Inn's country fried steak the night before, and I climbed on top. I was like, "Oh, you liking this, baby? You like it? Sí, me gusta," and I just let my bowels release, honey. I shat on that dick, baby.
What?
I did. And I was like, no, get the fuck out of my house. Don't you rape me. Don't you rape Mickey Fickies ever again. Get out of my house.
Fuck yeah. That deserves a round of applause. Holy shit. Literally. Oh my God. What the fuck do you even say to that? It
was my revenge, honey.
That's the best. That's
revenge.
The best. I love revenge shit. I love a good revenge. I was praying for that. I know this is cringeworthy. I know this is like, but that is just ultimate perfect. That's perfection.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's perfection.
And I had planned it. I had pulled out the towels and put them on the bed. I was like,
he didn't even go like, I wonder what's going to happen. Like, nope, all the towels are normal.
So yeah, that's the worst I ever did to anybody. Unfortunately,
that's so justified. That's the most justified.
I unfortunately had another hashtag Me Too moment though, where this gentleman he got me really drunk. I need to watch my alcohol, and I'm glad we started with Malort, because I'm like, girl, I'm not going to let you put anything more in my mouth, but we'll see where life takes us. But he lusted after me for apparently like 8 years. He felt like he had to make his intentions known, which was pulling out his penis, and then he would like suck his finger to seduce me. And it was like one of those like putting your pointer finger all the way in your mouth, like you're trying to like gag yourself.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, number one, I hope I'm thicker than my pointer finger. Thank you. That's wow. Now, mind you, I've been that person. Like, if I want to make Aaron here uncomfortable, our studio man, like, I know how to work a bottle. Like, hey.
Yes, he does.
Producer Aaron is very roller coaster of emotions.
Still just the Malort.
Yeah, right? The Malort still hitting. Oh,
because I know how to work my lips and my gap teeth, and I know I have a sexy mouth. It's one of those like, oh no, I'm not going to put it in.
And Aaron's
in my
married,
mouth.
but I could tell like by his facial expression, he's totally thinking about. He's like, you know what? Would she be into it? Like, would I mean?
Aaron, you wouldn't be my first straight guy. Let me just be very honest. But I don't have to pursue straight guys. They come after me. And in my defense, like the last straight guy, I believe straight guy I was involved with, we had it off and on for like 7 years. And then he couldn't see me anymore because he married an Asian woman. So I I'm a little bit sad, but
man.
I'm glad he found someone who can work with what he has working with.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
Shit.
He's like, oh, baby, the things she'll do to me. And I'm like, what, make me lay there? What?
Oh, no.
But,
oh my God.
So yeah, like, this guy, I was really drunk and it was like, oh, we'll take you home. Why don't you crash at our place? And oddly enough, I was more attracted to his husband than I was to him. But the husband decided to go to sleep. And the guy then took the time to make things happen, which I said such great things of, wow, I'm really drunk. I can't even get it hard. Oh gosh, I'm really drunk.
Oh my God.
Followed by in the morning where he tried to go for round 2 and I was like, oh, I'm really hungover. My performance isn't going to be good. And he was nice enough to tell me like, oh no, I have a birthmark on my penis. You're not dirty. What? And I'm like, oh, thanks you. Good to know I was clean. Yes.
Oh my God. This shit is like.
Hashtag me too is like.
This shit is
and I still have to
weird.
bump into him. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, do I tell him like, you have given me one of the worst encounters of my life. Like, it was bad.
Wow, that's fucking
It was just
awful.
really bad. And like mutual friends are like, oh yeah, he's really good in bed. I'm like, I don't know who you were with. That was bad.
First of all,
I guess
if mutual friends are maybe it's different gay community thing. Because I'm like, if mutual friends are like, oh, I was like, wait, you've slept with? No. I don't want to sleep with somebody my friends slept with.
Everyone
I'm not
sleeps with everybody in the gay community.
True. Gay men, I think, see, I'm like, relatively newer to lesbian culture. So I'm like, all right.
Lesbians is you have a 2 good dates and then you bring a U-Haul.
You get married, yeah. No, that's what I do on the first date. I just show up in the U-Haul. And I'm like, here we go.
See,
what we do. How long have I been out? I have been out for 4 years. 4 years. So it's not been long at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've only been out for 4 years. I've known my entire life, but like, many people who grew up in the Midwest, like, I mean, my high school, we had 3 people that came out as LGBTQ later, but we were like, kids during the Matthew Shepard era. So we were like, oh, you don't talk about it. Like, we don't say shit. We're not about to end up like that. So you just suppress it for a really long time. And then eventually, I mean, the rainbows come out. You can't fucking do it anymore. Yeah. So, I mean, my cringeworthy stories, no offense, but like, if you have to take dick for longer than you ever wanted to in your entire fucking life, yeah, that's cringy to me. I'm like, my entire 20s was cringeworthy. Oh God, no offense, but not into it whatsoever. And people will be like, how did you get through it? I'm like, I have a really good imagination. I watch a shit ton of porn. I just thought about eating pussy the whole time. That's it. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
So if you're in the closet and you're not quite there, use this time to cultivate a great imagination. It can help you out in life.
It can
bring
help
you some great
out.
success eventually.
Do
you have any? Okay, I'm going to ask this question. I want to know. Do you have any other gross cum stories? Because like that's one thing that to me again, it's like, what the fuck? Like I've heard of like the porn stores and the floors, and I'm like, no, just stop. I don't need to hear anything more. That sounds fucking awful. Because it's not like the janitor goes in between each session.
No, we clean it once per shift. I've worked in a porn store. I've worked in multiple.
Oh, come on. You have to have something from working in a porn store. Are you kidding me?
I worked at Pleasures in Denver, Colorado. I worked at the Midtown Spa.
So it was classier.
In Denver, Colorado, which was a bathhouse.
Oh, come on.
And here in Chicago, I worked at Batteries Not Included. Now, mind you, that was a sex store. We didn't have booths or any private stuff.
But what about the booth? You got to have a disgusting booth story.
There was booths like we had.
Is it because it's in Denver? It's like the North Face crowd, so they like bring their own. They bring their own hand sanitizer. They bring their own spray down, and they like then they put it in like a doggy shit bag instead. Okay, so there's still the raw.
I had to sweep stuff up. I had to clean stuff up. Clean stuff off the.
What would you sweep up?
Toilet paper, popper bottles. People would drop quarters, so I would take some quarters. Because you pick up money. I'm a firm believer. You pick up. Now, mind you, I had plastic gloves.
Please, thank God.
And you boil them when you get home.
Yeah,
but you pick up money. You pick up money, and I still pick up pennies on the ground. It's like that's money. You pick it up.
Yeah, but. It's got shit on it. It's got cum on it. That's just. But I guess
you are my street name. My street name is No Mess Thomas. It's not double penetration Pete, but it's no mess Thomas. And,
oh my God.
And there's a guy that I am fully aware of that he's vegan. And straight up, the first time I showed him I was no mess Thomas, I didn't know he had actually done it because it tasted vegan. There was no flavor. Like usually you taste garlic or it's like it has the milk of magnesia texture, but it usually has an onion or garlic flavor, but like there was no flavor.
God.
And
who are you with?
It tastes so clean. Like there have been times I was like, like I didn't want to ask, like, did you arrive? Did it happen? But he's also, because he's such a shooter, like, it gets just so farther, like, down in my throat.
God. No.
That, like, and he's good with his hands, like, where his hands are at the time. Like, it has occasionally become otherworldly. I'm like, oh, wow, you just straight up hit my G-spot. Oh, my God. So.
Oh, God. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's good. That's fantastic. Oh
but
my God.
I ain't too that crazy. No, that's all comes because I've spent the almost the past 2 years trying to explore my sexuality.
How long have you been out? It sounds like your whole life, but when did it come to?
I came out probably really horribly when I was 17, 18. I'm one of those, like, I just don't talk about my personal life with people because when people know your business, you can't get them out of your business. So, like, a few of my coworkers, I'm almost there, working there for 2 years. Like, some of them know. Others just, like, I don't tell them anything. Like, they've actually complained. Like, I straight up don't talk to them. Like, they know nothing about my life. My manager disappeared for, like, a week. And I'm like, have fun. He's like, it's like he told everyone where he went and everything's like, I didn't care, so I didn't ask. And then, like, I'm taking a week off, and he's like, are you going to tell me? And I've learned to reluctantly, like, tell something because I've dealt with managers, like, it's like, I really don't want to tell you. And they're like, why? Because then you'll ask, why am I going there? And what am I doing there? And I don't want to talk to you about that. It's none of your business. You don't need to be in my business. And, like, I have a small little corner office, and they had to tell me, like, no, you need to open your office door when you're here. Like, you have to. I
started at a place once, and they told me that, and I was just like, all right. But then, like, after that, I'm glad they did, because I was closing myself off for no fucking reason. Like, it was just like, meh, I just didn't want to deal with it. But then at the same time, I'm like,
coworkers.
I don't know. There are that philosophy as well. But was there an open door policy at the porn shop? Did you?
Well, when I worked in the porn shop, like, everyone knew I was gay, and that was one of the things that. You asked me when I came out. I had my first experience with a guy when I was 15, but I actually came out finally to myself and everything when I was 17. My coming out story is pretty horrible. It's one of those God. I came out to my dad and a couple of friends. And my mother was horrible. My mother she's still alive. She's not a very nice woman.
Oh no.
And she found out I was gay by going through my things, looking for overdue library books. Found a book that a guy I was seeing gave me. He read the inscription, and she was horribly shocked and offended. She couldn't believe it. And I always like to do the ABC game of this, but my mom promptly started calling me faggot. She then told me to go get AIDS and die. She called all the family members and told them I was a faggot.
Whoa.
And to this day, and again, this happened when I was 17, a month when I was 18. To this day, she is still shocked that I don't talk to her.
Oh my God.
And it's like, why would I?
Yeah.
Why would I talk to you? You've been nothing but horrible to me.
Yeah.
Why? We're not friends.
How did your dad take it? But see, like, I mean, not to say that, because my dad actually took it better than my mom. And then, like, my mom eventually warmed up. I mean, my whole family is like, they're not like, yay, but, you know, it just doesn't get discussed. We don't just talk.
We don't discuss it. I don't talk to my mother at all. When I say I don't talk to my mother at all, I've made progress. It used to be that when my parents are still married, that when I call my parents' house, if my mother answered, I'd promptly hang up.
Oh wow!
I got better then I would. if my mother answered, I would ask for my father by his birth name. I wouldn't describe disguise my voice. I don't think I can disguise this voice, but I would ask him by his birth name, and then she would get him on the phone. And if she didn't get him on the phone, it'd be like no message, and I'd hang up.
Wow.
I now have gotten to the point of I can go, "Hi, mother, may I speak to father?" And then she gives some kind of excuse or whatever, and then I quickly end the conversation, or I get my father on the phone. Like, I don't talk to her. I don't need to talk to her. It's
I mean,
I'm sorry. Like, once you take my business to the streets, and she used to like insult me in front of my friends. Like when my mother tried to reconnect with me, I asked friends, like, should I give her a chance? And like 90% came back with a, "Oh God, no, run, no, evil, run,
you don't know
run."
It,
And 10% were just be very careful.
Yeah. I'm
no.
a firm believer. I don't give a fuck if you're related. Like if they hit that so hard and they made you feel so shitty and left out, you don't fucking owe them anything.
No,
it's
you don't.
your decision. It's not their decision whether or not they forgive you. And it's also not anybody else's fucking decision. And I hate when people go like, "But it's blood." I don't give a shit. Sometimes blood just isn't enough. So fuck it. You find your family where you find your family. And if they want in on it, then they're going to have to figure out how, like if they want it bad enough, they'll figure out how to get back in. That's just the bottom line. They'll figure it out.
They currently do that. "Oh, you owe us" thing, and
what?
It's like I don't owe you shit.
What do I owe you? I didn't ask you to have sex and impregnate her, and also, oh no, I thought about that. But
anyway, so I came out at 17, but because of my horrible background, I had 2 dead brothers before I could legally drink. And I say legally drink because I was one of them bad kids. I had a fake ID because I fucked the right people.
You were in what, Indianapolis?
At this time it was Colorado. So
oh wow, okay.
So the drinking age was 21, but I got a fake ID when I was 17, so I was able to hit the bars and everything.
Wow.
And oddly enough, I had an STD before I discovered solo time. And this was like 4.5 years after I had lost my virginity to a neighbor boy who had paid me $150.
Hey, all right. Nice. Way to start it off.
My father called me a slut.
I didn't get paid for my first time. Shit. That's amazing. That's like you're already one up.
Amen, honey. My father called me a slut. And since then, it's like, I'm not a slut. I'm a whore.
Yeah.
Whores make rent.
I got paid, bitch.
Thank you. You pay for this. And so I was 27 before I actually learned to enjoy sex. And
damn.
I was feeling frustrated, and I realized I need to explore my sexuality. And so I went on a path to start exploring my sexuality. And I discovered some weird things, and there's some odd things I did. I learned that, oddly enough, unlike most gay men, I'm very similar to a lesbian. Like, there's always the joke, like, what does a lesbian bring on a second date? A U-Haul. Well, I met a lesbian that, what did she bring on a second date? Another girl. You want to do a 3-way?
For you?
No. That was her attitude in college.
Oh my God.
Like, she baked the entire like female lacrosse team. Like, she just worked her way through the sports teams.
I'm always jealous of the young gays. I'm like, damn it, I wish I'd been. Although at my school, it's okay.
No,
it's probably better I waited.
My high school,
college is all right, though.
I still joke, like, I'd probably be into S&M if my bullies were my type. Like, it's just a bunch of white boys, like Hitler Youth, and like, you do nothing for me. Like Ryan Gosling, they're like, oh, Ryan Gosling's so hot. He's like, he has a beagle face.
He does not make sense. I mean, and it's no offense, Ryan. Like, I'm sure you're listening, but not really into it, dude. Just we could be friends though. Like, if you want to hang out, it's fine. But like, stop.
I don't know.
Calling me. He's never called me. Sorry.
No, he won't call me. No. And so I had to learn that unfortunately is I have sex emotionally. Yeah. Like, I need to talk to you.
That is called a demisexual. I don't know if you knew that.
Demisexual.
You are
a
demisexual. I just learned this. Yeah, demisexual. So I'm learning that there's a lot of terms that basically just mean a person who likes to be in a relationship, because demisexual is like a person who doesn't have sex with someone unless they have an emotional attachment to them, which I'm like, so it's a person person who likes to get to know people before they have sex with them, I thought that was like a normal thing you did, and that like we reserve terms easy for people who don't need to do that. Like, I don't understand why it's, but I don't know. Same like pansexual. Pansexual is like a person who is attracted to any gender, any person, which is like a bisexual person, but I guess maybe they pull in non-binary into that. I'm not sure if they maybe that is what it is. Because I was like, so you're bisexual, except I guess, okay, you're attracted to people who are non-binary as well, which, okay.
It's interesting.
There's a lot of sexuals out there.
There is a lot of sexuals. It's one of those, like, I need to talk to you.
I like 2018. 2018's gotten very sexual.
It has.
I'm enjoying it very, very much. Thanks, Janelle Monáe. I credit her hugely.
Oh, yeah. She came out as bi or lesbian. She's
pansexual. This is the one where I was like, what is that? That's why I looked up. I was like, what is pansexual? Because I was like, sweet. Does that mean I have a chance? No, but slightly more. Hey.
You never know. You don't know that woman. You don't know her needs.
Not yet.
No man. I used to say no man or his money is out of your league. But this is no woman or her money is out of your league.
Exactly. I have all the confidence one would need to think that they could have a chance with someone like Janelle Monáe. So I'm in. Fucking in. Oh my God. All right.
So yeah, I spent exploring my sexuality, ended up in a hotel 5-way, and I realized like, oh God, no, this doesn't work for me.
Wait a minute.
I'm not going to do this again.
A 5-way?
5-way.
So an orgy.
I guess so.
Yeah, I was going to say past 3 are in an orgy. It's like 4 is a quartet just because it's cute. But like past 4, it's a...
There's been a lot of 3-ways in the past year and a half. And,
wow.
Which was really interesting because I used to hate them. I used to hate them so much because I was always the best looking one and I did all the work. Why am I doing all the work?
Oh, God,
and I'm not getting any rewards. And then recently it was one of those like, oh, okay, all 3 of us are intermingling and this is good. It's not like, oh, I'm having to do all the work.
It's actually working out.
Yes.
Oh my God.
But I realized like the 5-way wasn't like, I really don't operate that way. And when I was in Indianapolis, oddly enough, I did... Sometimes you have an ego boost. Like there's been a guy I've been talking to. I talked to him in May. I went there in August. And it was one of those like, oh, he was going to come over, but he had another event to go to. And like he came over and we just really clicked and things occurred. And then he apologized that they occurred so quickly for him. And then he had to leave. But he kept messaging me all through the night. And I have to say, when your 5:30 p.m. Saturday night comes over at 9 a.m. Sunday morning before he goes to church,
what?
You did something right.
Hell yeah.
You laid down something proper because he's like, I want to get this before it leave town.
He can't possibly sit through the word of God knowing that God just gave him a beautiful gift and he walked away from it.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Amen.
A real faithful ass Christian man. He's a good man. He's a faithful man.
I did live in this neighborhood.
God gave me, brought you to me, and I've taken them away.
So,
my God. So you didn't masturbate till you were 27.
My first time was 19 and a half, and that's because I was clearing. I had been celibate for about a year, and I somehow ended up with crabs.
About a year?
I somehow ended up with crabs.
Somehow, because it was the first, like...
No, I know how.
You started having sex when you were what? 15. That's right. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was celibate my entire senior year of high school.
You're just like, let me focus on my studies.
It just kind of happened that I was horribly depressed. My parents didn't feed me, and I didn't develop properly sexually.
No, so you had to use the energy. You're like, I need to pass class. I cannot fuck.
Yeah,
let me do that. Get through this trauma.
I guess when they said how it was evil, it was against religion and sin, and you were going to hell for it. I guess I somehow believed that.
Yeah, I was closeted for 32 years because I believed that shit, and then I was like, oh no, it's not real. That's not real. Yeah. But then it was the abandonment fear. I was like, oh God. Anyway,
so what had happened is I had a friend in college, and like I'd let him use my computer, so he'd look at porn, and I couldn't use my computer because it now had a virus. Well. He was a big slut and he slept with everything, but he would borrow my clothes. So he banged with everything and I ended up with crabs. And I was like, how the hell did I end up with crabs and I'm not having sex? And he
Oh
I
my
didn't
God.
know it was
Vicarious
him
crabs.
until like a year and a half later. He had spent the night or something, and I'd had a couple encounters. Like, how did I keep ending crabs? Because he would like spend the night. We'd share a bed.
Crabs.
We never had sex. Him and I never had sex. Well, I was like leaning against him, and he had like the washboard stomach. He was straight up built like Mark Wahlberg or like a current like black Hollywood star now. He was just buff. And so I'm driving, and I'm him someplace, and I'm looking at my arm, and like, what are these big black things on my arm? Because I had rested my arm against his stomach. I then drove him someplace, and I looked, and I'm like, oh my God, these are crabs.
What?
He fucking has crabs.
You could see them on your person?
Huge. They were huge, and they were on my arm because I had rested against him. And so when
he was like teaming. You didn't see him on his. Oh God!
Apparently, he didn't see them, and he had them for 2 years. He had what I call terminal crabs, honey. Terminal crabs.
And you would feel that. Wouldn't you feel that?
Yes, you would feel the itching, so he would scratch. He noticed his balls were getting smaller or disappearing. He did nothing to fix it. When he came home, when he came back that night, I met him. I'm like, dude, we need to talk. We need to talk. You have crabs.
How do
you gave them to me. Here is a box of Rid. And I gave him the instruction on how to do it. It's like, go into the bathroom and go clean that up. And at first he said he called me a liar. He mouthed off and said I was a dirty hoe and I was the one. And I was like, it doesn't matter.
What the fuck?
It doesn't matter. You've got them. Go clean.
For 2 years and you didn't know. I don't understand.
I knew within a couple of days. I was like, what the hell happened? I haven't blessedly had crabs since the 90s, but like, I was like, oh, something's crawling on me. It's like you shave everything off, you grab Rid, and like you practice that celibacy thing.
For 2 years, that's fucking outrageous.
He had terminal crabs. And apparently, like, he banged a friend of mine, and the friend knew, like, he had crabs and didn't tell the guy, but would occasionally still have sex with him and just shave himself bald.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I'm the one who had to tell him.
God.
I had to be that good friend.
Ew. You had to be that good friend. Oh my God.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, motherfucker, you put crabs in my clothes.
Yeah,
and on me. The fuck? Ew.
Ew. It's just ooh.
I just can't believe you can see it. Like, that's what blowing me. You saw it. There's no way he didn't go like, oh, bling, like, ew, what was that?
It was
like at least 60 times in 2 years.
You know how some dress shirts have like it was about the size of a stud earring.
Oh my God.
It was black and I saw it moving.
Yikes.
Oh, all right. I just came from the clinic. I ain't got none today. Okay, so don't look at me like. That's
massive. I would not notice that. I would see it once on my person and probably accidentally jump into bleach because that would freak me the fuck out. Oh my God. Gross.
Yeah. I tried like hot tub to drown it. It doesn't work. Swimming doesn't drown it. You have to like kill it chemically with Rid, and shaving is highly, highly recommended, and it'll grow back. So.
Disgusting. Yeah. Right now I feel like I'm like, it's that itchy effect. Like, no.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God. So how dirty? Yeah, that's fucked up. That's insanely cringy. That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
It is really disgusting.
Oh my God.
And the reason in an earlier discussion about the whole group thing, the 5-way actually was supposed to be a 6-way, but there was a guy there in a toupee that I've had to be very specific about. Like, I cannot have sex with this guy. I cannot have sex with him in the same room. Like, I just can't do that.
So they kicked him out for you.
Yeah, they sent him on his way.
Hey, all right. That speaks highly. Thomas Bottoms, y'all.
Yeah, he has a various different sizes of wigs he put on. And
they were all like, no, seriously, I'm glad you said something because we all been thinking about it. So like, yeah, no offense, but you're out.
Like, it's a decent toupee, but it's one of those, like, the more you interact with him, it's like, yeah, that hair doesn't look right.
Would it slip? Like get sweaty and just slip
sometimes
around.
there's the slight seam that he has. Like he has the head cover mask like they use for Hollywood, but you have to maintain it in a certain way.
Yeah.
And then you start looking like you look at the top upper hairline is like when they comb it forward like that, it's because they're covering up the fake hairline.
Oh no!
And I wish him well. I really do. Like he's a very nice guy.
I mean,
it's
I'm
just
sure.
I will just never be that drunk.
Dress up nicely for an orgy. I mean, come on. Toupees is because rarely it's funny. So like women, I know like women wear wigs all the time, and it's really good. You can't fucking tell. You can't tell, but you can tell when a man has fake hair on for real. You can like, bro, that doesn't even match your eyebrows. Also, your arm hair. Also, none of like you're light and that's black. What is this? Come on.
Yeah,
Men,
there's
do better. Try harder. Work for each other, or just shave your fucking head. Here's the thing: you can walk around bald, and it's fine. People find that attractive, but bald women, very rare. Very rare are you going to get anything that's not like kind of fetishy.
Bald-headed men, it changed. Bruce Willis led the way in the 90s, and then the rest of us, like, you shave your head. And there's always the story that, some women have issues with bald-headed men. There's no women who like toupees. Like,
yeah,
it's just
no woman walks in and goes, "Ooh, that looks so nice. Where did you get this one?"
Yeah, I mean, if they're that vapid, move on.
Is this real hair? Is this a synthetic? Like, calm the fuck on. Oh my god.
So,
all right, that's some good fucking stuff right there. Crabs and the best revenge I've ever heard of. The best revenge to rape. Yes, like hell yeah. So, all right, we do a couple things to wrap it up. But before we wrap it up with our palate cleanser shot,
okay.
Thomas, what do you do? Where can people find you? Let's hear your social media. Where's your social media? Let's start with that. How can people look for you?
Thomas Bottoms Comedy on Twitter. I am on Facebook as Thomas Bottoms, and that's BOTTOMS. And I also have a group page for my radio show called Bottoms of the Barrel.
Ooh.
It's on Q4 Radio, AM 1680, Q4.org, and that's QUE, the number 4.org, O-R-G. And that's every Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. Central Time.
Nice.
It's a comedy show with no budget, no future, no morals. I like to say we're aiming low for success. When you ask, how low are you aiming? The answer is, did the show occur? Yes. Success. Success.
Nice.
It's a current event show with a pop music review. So it's a topical humor with a pop varnish.
Do you have guests or
we
do
have
you do?
Guests.
Oh, okay.
We have guests.
Okay.
We have comedians. We have had some special guests. I had last year for World AIDS Day, I had Dolores DeLucci of the Cockettes, who had worked with Divine in the 70s and 80s. Divine was Dolores DeLucci's grandmama, if you would. They were really close and lived together. She was a guest on the show. I recently had Manny Petty, a local musician, and I've had members of Pocket Boy Toy Productions be a guest, and Pocket Boy Toy Productions and we did a comedy show. I believe it was June 2nd or June 9th in Detroit. We headlined Detroit Gay Pride at the Olympus Theater. It was a comedy show and a burlesque show, male burlesque.
Hell yeah.
And they thought the venue was cursed, but people showed up. We did something right.
Sweet. And, that's dope.
I also host a monthly comedy show at Shakers, 3160 North Clark, just south Shakers. Of Belmont. Yes, it's a great place.
It's weird. The open mic nights, like, are just sort of weird, but they're so fun. I keep going to them because every time it's just a whole bunch of dudes and I'm the woman, also the lesbian. So I'm like, here we go. Let's go. But it's fun. Like, I love the bar too. I really like the place.
It's a really great bar. I'm actually doing a show there tonight.
Awesome.
This is Friday, November 9th. I'm doing the post-election cure show.
Yes.
Where you're supposed to wear blue for the blue wave, wear red for the red wave. I'm wearing purple because I'm bruised.
Haha. Nice.
And I do a show there the third Tuesday of the month. We got a show coming up November 20th and December 18th. That is 8 to 10 p.m. Central Time. No cover. We have some of Chicago's best comedians. And if you missed that show, you can hear it again at the Bottoms of the Barrel radio show the following Saturday.
Sweet.
So you can find me on Facebook. I'm trying to get my website up, www.thomasbottoms.com. You might find something there. I need to find a web designer. I thought I could fuck the right people, but I've been on the casting couch, and I have to say that I had a voiceover audition, and that was not a microphone, but it was a 30-second audition.
Damn. That's excellent. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Let's do our palate cleanser. It is another shot. I don't even know if I should mix it with the Malort. I'm very afraid of it, so I'm just going to... Producer Aaron is so much more brave and like...
Am I seeing two types of Malort?
No, so that's Malort, Jepson's Malort.
Oh, Jepson's
and our
Malort,
palate cleanser
Old
is
Vermont whiskey.
Old Overholt, straight rye whiskey from Claremont, Kentucky. If you want to sponsor us as well, you'll be on like the next 3 or 4 episodes as the palate cleanser. So if you would like, do you want a new glass?
Yes,
or
I want a new glass.
I'm with you.
We all emphasize, except for producer Aaron. He apparently is going to lick the rim if it would be. He's okay with that Malort.
He's like, hey, you might have discovered something about yourself.
It already smells better.
It smells better. It's going to feel better. It's going to make us way happier. And cheers to you, Thomas. Thank you so much for an excellent third episode. Bottoms up. Oh, birds, it's so much better. Oh, I could breathe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's clearing out my sinuses.
Yeah. And it makes you not feel like you regretted most of the decisions leading up to this moment. So I'm glad you just came on. All right. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for having
let me
me.
give you, if you're listening to this and you're like, I want to listen to all of these, follow us on Facebook. We are the Cringeworthy Podcast on Facebook. On Twitter, @CringePod. And on Instagram, I just set that up today, Cringe Podcast. So check us out. Follow us. Thank you, producer Aaron, as always. And thank you, Thomas, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Unlike half of Chicago.